Trevs Hockey Show. I'm the Trev. That's too sweet. Anyway, continuing on with my division prediction reviews. And well, I've already pumped 2 down, which means now we're at the last 2. And obviously this one of the last 2 was a little bit harder to predict, but somehow or some way, I actually didn't do too bad. I mean, I didn't predict over half the field, but I came close. And much like the Central Division, which we just talked about, picking first place was pretty easy. The rest of it, that's where the trick lied. Because, I mean, the last spot in the Metropolitan Division wasn't claimed until the end of the regular season. But either way, I'm going to go over my division predictions from the beginning of the year and see how I did compared to how they actually ended up. It's definitely worth talking about. So let's talk about it. All right. So when it comes to the Metropolitan Division, if you remember my division predictions, I predicted it to go a little bit something like this. And here's how the division actually looked. And again, picking the division winner, that was the easy part. The only other two I got right were numbers 5 and 6. And because I knew both teams weren't going to the playoffs. And when it comes to Carolina, same old, same old. Same blueprint, ain't broke, don't fix it. Win the division, make the playoffs. And I mean, adding Nikolai Ehlers to the team, not a bad addition at all. And your high-end talent is still there between Aho, Svechnikov, and Jarvis. Solid 1-2 net presence. And Rod Brindamore behind the bench. There was never a doubt they weren't winning the division. So, a funny story. I actually picked the Pittsburgh Penguins to finish 32nd overall. And funny story, they grossly overachieved. I mean, Crosby, Malkin, Letang, and even Erik Karlsson. They still got something. You know, whether it was a case of the best of what they could physically produce before the age of 40, maybe, but it helped. But then again, having guys like Mantha and Brazo and even trading for Stuart Skinner, those didn't hurt either. But again, the interesting thing in Pittsburgh is going to be what kind of offseason are they looking at having? And how much change before it's too much change? Which brings us to the Flyers. And if Martone is any indication of what's on the way for the Flyers, they may be a very good team at some point. But thanks to them going on a late season heater at the basically end of the Olympic break, along with teams like Columbus and the Islanders having their struggles down the pipe, Philly took full advantage of it. And again, with Martone, with Zegras, with Drysdale, with Konechny, the list goes on. In Philly, they're full of offense. Just a matter of actually putting the wins together. But what impressed me the most about Philly, Vladar, and having the season he had. Still some things to work on in Philly, but they're going to be a solid playoff contending team if they keep playing the way they played this season. And I'm not going to lie, I was very hopeful for the Capitals, and mostly for Ovechkin, to at least go to the playoffs one more time, just in case this was his last year. And to this point, nothing's been announced, so I can't tell you one way or the other. And it's not for a case of them being bad. I mean, they won the division last season. Unfortunately, they just play in a Metro division that is so congested in the top 3. If you're lucky, you're going to get that wild card spot, and nobody in the Metropolitan Division clinched the wild card spot. I mean, it's not for lack of effort. Thompson had an amazing season. Would have been better if the Caps won a couple more games, but special teams in the power play really seemed to hurt the Capitals this season. I don't want to think this is Ovi's last year, but if it is, I am going to miss that man so much. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Columbus, they almost had it. And I would have thought bringing in Rick Bowness to replace Dean Evison mid-season would have helped them, because they went on a 2-month tear before they lost it completely. And much like last season, though, they got so close, but the point remains they still didn't make a playoff spot. But that's why they tell you, keep your foot on the gas, because you let go, missing the playoffs will happen. And Columbus is learning this again. Will they actually ever become a solid playoff team again? Well, I'm sure one day, but it's not looking good with the roster as is. hopefully bonus can actually get to these guys next season. And much like Columbus, the New York Islanders, so close. They played their heart out. They were in a playoff spot many times throughout the season, but just could not hold it down. And, you know, they might have made the best change for their future, bringing in Pierre DeBoer with 4 games left. But the most important piece of the equation when it comes to the Islanders is Matthew Schaefer. I would even go on record as to say the consensus pick for your Calder Memorial Trophy this season. You know, if the Islanders can build off of Schaefer, giving him a better defense, or more importantly, giving Sorokin a better defense, if they can improve their forward scoring lines, they'll be scary, especially if they're having Peter DeBoer coach them. Then there's Jersey. And whatever Tom Fitzgerald had in mind for this team when he built it for the last 6 years, it obviously didn't work. And that's sad, given the kind of depth and the talent that the Devils actually have. I mean, they got a solid number 1 in Jack Hughes. They got a solid number 2 in Nico Hischier. They got Jesper Bratt. They got Luke Hughes. They got draft capital. They got salary cap. There's no reason they can't be a solidly competitive team. And maybe that's where they'll go from here. Either way, thought I'd see better things out in the New Jersey Devils. Which brings us to the Rangers. They just played like garbage. Pure garbage. And given what they've done to the roster, bringing in JT Miller, bringing in Mike Sullivan to be your head coach. But I mean, after your GM sends out a letter to the Rangers fan base saying, hey, sorry, we'll improve, and then end up becoming the second worst team in the league, what's that say, right? It's Ranger hockey, baby. It's absolute garbage. I mean, on top of that, you know, Shesterkin and Fox being less than present for most of the season with injuries didn't help the cause either. But if there's any positives, I mean, they did win this Winter Classic. Still undefeated in outdoor games. So if I'm a Rangers fan, I'm wondering why the Rangers playing outdoors more often, right? But that was my review of the Metropolitan Division. Feel free to give me your thoughts. Let me know if you did it any better on your predictions than I did. Love to hear it. Says another one of them Trevs hockey shows. I want to thank you for tuning in. Don't think I don't appreciate the gesture, especially if you've made it to this point. If you've made it to this point, congratulations, my friend. You've made it to the end. And I couldn't be more thankful to you for it. I mean, you're helping out with the watch time, which really helps out a lot. I mean, watch time tells the algorithm everything, right? But if you've made it to this point, if you're digging what I'm doing, or you just want to say, hey, dude, I'm all for it. Throw me a thumbs up. Trust me, a thumbs up, like the watch time, helps out that thing that we talk about all the time, the algorithm. Helps give this channel exposure. And trust me, exposure is never a bad thing for a channel like mine. But if you want to, if you haven't done so by now, that red button, that one that says subscribe all over it, come on, you know you want to hit it. I know you want to hit it. The algorithm knows you want to hit it. I mean, why deny yourself a good thing? It'll make you feel good. It'll make me feel good. We're making that push to 500 by the end of the year. So, see if we can't get that number rolling up. Be a great thing. If you really want, that link in my description below, that'll take you to my Facebook page. Feel free to join that. I mean, I'd love to see the numbers build up there like they're building up here. I mean, they are building, so that's a great thing, but whether I'm posting on my own page or someone else's hockey page or a movie page or a music page, trust me, I'm there, I'm posting. So, I mean, chances are we'll run into one another. But moving forward, as far as my division prediction reviews is concerned, we got one more to go, and it's the Pillow Fight division. I mean, the Pacific Division. But either way, it'll be fun to talk about. So in the meantime, and in between time, be looking for you some Trev. Nada.